So it's week 2. It's quite reflective. My week 2 task that I did was the activity asking, where does your time go? Like, what were the 5 main activities this week that I gave my energy to? When I broke this down, I wasn't very happy to find that creativity wasn't where most of my energy went. And because I'm going through this process, it's kind of something I would like to shift. However, number 1 for me this week was financial literacy education. And for me, what that looks like is investing knowledge, trading knowledge, blockchain, cryptocurrency. I am realizing that the world is rapidly changing in ways. I just want to stay informed about what's going on. And also, the older I get and the more I learn, I become woefully more unemployable. And at this point, I want my money to work for me. I want to work smart and not hard. The days of trading endless hours and energy for survival are done for me. Like, I'm never going back to that. I feel like that's what your 20s are for, that vigor, for that grind. No, it's not. That's not what it is for me anymore. So COVID was a big time of like survival for everybody, and I made some really good decisions and I made some really bad decisions. And right now I'm kind of correcting. I've been saying want very loosely, but part of me feels like this is what I should be doing. And if you remember my week 1 video, how I'm still trying to unlearn that I should have a backup plan for my creative self. So the trading and things is partially I want to be able to fund my ideas. I want to be able to not hesitate when it comes to my creativity. And sometimes money is a blockage that makes you press pause sometimes on things that mean something to you. This reminds me of a moment in my childhood, the moment where art and money became linked forever, inseparable in my mind and in my spirit. So I remember I had this Garfield coloring book and I reached the end of it. I finished that last page and I didn't have another coloring book to just pick up and start a new one, right? So I go exploring in the house. I'm in my creative energy bag, just seeing like, oh, what can I find that can be coloring paper? I went into my parents' room and on the dresser, my dad had a couple $100 bills placed there. And these are the old bills, so there was no color on them, and it looked like coloring paper to my child mind. Okay? So I color. I mind my business. My dad's at work. My mom comes home, so I go downstairs with her to watch some TV and just being a kid. And when I get home, my dad, he asked, "Hey Brooke, did you take some money off of my dresser?" And my instant reaction was no, because at the time I didn't understand what money was. Like, that hadn't been broken down to me at this point in my life. I was young, so 3 or 4, maybe probably like 4. I just didn't know. I didn't know the value of money. Like, I knew the idea of it, but to me, it's some paper. So he went looking again. He came back. He asked again, and then I started feeling kind of like anxious. Like, well, maybe I did do something. Well, maybe it was these. So I go excitedly to tell my dad, or should just show my dad my coloring drawings, right? And he was not happy. When I say this is the very first time that I got a whooping, my little ass got tore up and I could, for the life of me, couldn't understand. But what I did gather from that was, damn, if this stuff is so important that I could be hurt by the people who love me for it, then I need to prioritize this like it matters, like it means something, because it does. This stuff is valuable. I don't get it yet, but I know that this is something that I need and that I want. So from that moment on, I saved every last bit of allowance. I don't even know how I learned about the concept of interest. My parents needed $20 to like order a pizza, pay the pizza guy or something, I'd be like, okay, but you got to pay me back with interest. I'm gonna need $23 back. Like, and I just became this little financier, and money forever became attached to art for me. Like, I can't explain how my child brain processed that, but that moment stands out as I sit here talking about finances during a creative process. So anyway, next, I put my energy into my morning pages and into this artist way process. I give it probably like 60 to 90 minutes a day. The journaling typically takes like an hour. If there's reading to do, maybe 30 minutes. I might take an hour to do one of the tasks. And then, of course, the checkups and stuff. But I haven't missed a day yet. However, I wish that more of the energy for that went towards my artist date. Like, I did an artist date. Maybe I'm judging it, feeling like it should have been more. But I took a Pilates class. But it didn't come about from a place of embodiment. I was really frustrated that day, and I didn't know what to do with my energy. Like, I just felt like it was going to be destructive if I didn't do something constructive with it. So I just went to the gym, hopped in a fucking Pilates class, and I'm in there like, yeah, it was good. I enjoyed myself. I really did. But, and then a part of me feels like an artist date should be grander or something. I don't know. I'll unpack that on my own. And then part of that artist way energy I spent this week trying to get others to join me. So I have since then sent the book to more people, but nobody has joined me yet. So that is a lesson in itself, is that your creative process and your creative journey is your own. It has nothing to do with anybody else. So if they don't join me, does that mean I'm not going to do it? Absolutely not. But I do realize that I am kind of judging them, because it makes me realize that my friends are choosing to stay blocked. Like, I see possibility everywhere, which is why the artist way process is exciting for me, because I've been through it before, but even when I went to it the first time, I know the processes lead to things. They lead to change. I understand. I'm committed to change and growth. And the fact that no one has joined me, no, I'm lying. I want to say one person has started reading, but they're not like actively, nobody's in it as serious as me right now. And that's fine. It's fine. I'm learning to accept it, but it's hard to want to talk about it, or, just want to volley about the things that we're experiencing. Like, I've been joining like an Artist Way Facebook group. No disrespect, they're sweet, but I just want to see more people like myself. Yeah, so I'm hoping that through this process with me uploading to YouTube, that I'm able to maybe start fostering my own Artist Way community. So, yeah. So anyways, so next on the list, my third thing would be filmmaking. This is a tough one for me, because the last time I went through the artist way process, screenwriting came out of it. Scripts started coming out of me. I started filming. I started working on my first proof of concept for a TV series that I am creating called Black Magic. I have not been screenwriting consistently this year. I know exactly what story I want to write next. I've even wrote out some beats. I've even dedicated a specific notebook to it, which I'm looking at right now, but I haven't touched it. And I think part of it, writing or filmmaking, is an interesting place to be, especially when you are the writer director, because you kind of have things on your slate that are in different stages of development at all the time. Like, I have scripts that are in research phase. I have scripts that are first draft phase. I have scripts that are in revision phase. I have scripts that are on fourth draft. I have scripts, Black Magic, we are revising the full pilot again so that it can be packaged with the story Bible and pitch deck and all of those things. So everything's at its own space, so that you're constantly in a state of creation. But so yeah, I met with my co-creator Chris this week, and we went over some of the virtual effects from the VFX artist that we're working with right now. And this has just been a slow process. I think that's why I'm a little bit discouraged with it, because we started this during the pandemic, and it's 2025. And why this is important, matter of fact, I'm gonna just tell the internet at this point. Why not? So Black Magic is set in 2032. However, the story really begins in 2025, when the mothership arrives, bringing the gift of melanite, which reacts with the melanin in black bodies that activates our dormant superpowers and abilities. This allows us to create our own sovereign cities and communities, and to create a reality that we are now in control of. It's a radical reimagining of the world in the future. And when I wrote this in 2020 about a mothership returning in 2025, I didn't actually predict that I'd be on my Octavia Butler shit and a mothership would actually be arriving this year. So it just feels timely. It feels like this needs to happen. This needs to get out, like now. And it's beyond frustrating because I'm trying, and filmmaking is collaborative, but it's very much so financial. So again, everything boils back to, bitch, you need more money. And I hate that because I know that this is a solid concept. It is beautifully shot. We did what needed to be done. But I feel a little bit of guilt around filmmaking, or like I'm not putting enough energy there because maybe a part of me is discouraged about the pace in which Black Magic is moving. And I've already created other treatments for shorts, and the script I'm writing would be my first feature. Yeah, I'm gonna shift that a little bit. And I might have spent 7 hours total on filmmaking this week, and that's because I went to Chris's house so that we can have our virtual effects meeting, and then we spent the rest of the time studying shorts and watching trailers and just nerding out on film stuff, which I enjoy. My spirit really needs that. That's one of my safe friends. However, even as my co-creator, I find myself to be the one who has to move things forward, and sometimes it's exhausting. I just, as a creator, you just want people to believe in you, and I like know he believes in it. But I hate to say this, but things would move fucking faster if I was 100% in control of it, and that's not what filmmaking is about. Filmmaking is collaborative. So yeah, I'm just fucking discouraged there, and I really want to work with more women filmmakers. It's so important for me, especially moving forward with my craft, to prioritize the female gaze and the female voice. And why I say this, there's nothing wrong with my past works, but I have worked with male co-creators, cis male co-creators, as my DP, as my directors, which means a lot of the time it's from their lens. Even though it's beautiful and I respect their crafts, there's something about a woman's touch with everything. So, women filmmakers, please reach out to me. And also, I'm a little bit discouraged. Discouraged is the wrong word. It's not discouragement. A little bit of anxiety around my first intimacy coordinator gig. I was supposed to get my contract on the 6th, but with all this going on in the world, LA on fire, and just all the chaos, I know that has been postponed a little bit, and I'm anxious about it. And then, to dig a little deeper, I seen somebody on my Facebook feed who has been a performer and entertainer for a while, and they posted something about them being offered an IC intimacy coordinator position, and that the woman said that she's not really sure if that's her lane, but do you want the job? And she's like, how much does it pay? And she says 8 figures. And one, I'm shocked because being a trained IC and just knowing that the industry standard isn't really set yet, I have no idea what opportunity for an IC would be 8 figures. Like, unless I have no idea what that would look like, but it hit at a chord with me because I'm like, that's something I actually do. And people who don't do that or didn't even know what the job was are getting the opportunity for it. And then I was like, Brooke, slow your roll. How are you mad that people aren't recognizing you if you're not putting yourself out there? I shut my website down over a year ago. I don't post to social media. Well, I guess now I do on YouTube. But how are you mad, sis? How are you mad? And yes, my pipeline of intimate people that I actually speak with, they know what I want to do. Yeah, I'm not being outgoing enough right now. I'm not being outgoing enough. So, can't be mad. So it's just making me realize that like filmmaking as a whole, every part of my involvement is going to require more of my energy. And when I first started filmmaking and screenwriting, I had a bout of beginner's luck. Like, I feel like the universe does that when you start anything new. It'll give you a taste, just a taste of what you can have or what your abilities are before the challenge is coming. It like gives you the hope so that you have something to hold on to as you pummel down this path, right? So I entered my first sci-fi fantasy screenwriting competition right after I finished the first draft of Black Magic. It might have been the second draft, but I submitted it and I made it to the semifinals with my first script. And it gave me all the encouragement I needed. It was like, oh, you have something here. Like, baby, you can write. You're a storyteller. There's legs here. And that's what made me go even harder. And now I'm faced with the challenges that require me to really push and really fight for my spot. I hate that. I don't feel like I should have to fight for anything. Like, as a creator, as a woman, I feel like you should be attracting things. As they say, don't chase, attract, right? But what's the fine line between chasing and attracting? Because you have to put some kind of fucking effort forward, you know? I guess what I'm saying is, am I meeting the universe halfway? I thought I was meeting the universe halfway when I got certified as an IC, but all I did really was announce it to Facebook, maybe, and that's it. And I made a couple of direct inquiries to producers and creators, and that's how the IC gig came about that I'm waiting on the contract for. And I'm spending more time in this video on the filmmaking part than I did my week, so that's telling. Anyway, this hair is done. I'm hanging on. Aquarius season starts today, so I'm just trying to figure out what I'm trying to look like during my season and whatnot. But anyways, so that was the third thing. The fourth thing I spent time on this week was family. And to me, it was the perfect amount of time. Normally, I'm very antisocial. I keep my phone on Do Not Disturb. I don't be feeling like being bothered. But Friday, 2 days ago, I went to my sister's house. My mom came up, so I got to see my niece, my nephews, and my mom. And then Saturday, even my dad pulled up. And my parents are separated, so it was just kind of nice to have them both in one setting. I realized that everybody's getting older, the kids are growing up. I see my parents aging now, so I was happy to spend time with them. I feel like one day a week is kind of exactly what my spirit needs. Like, as much as I have received some trauma from my past and from them, I have a pretty solid family, and I love them, so it was for my spirit that filled me up in ways that money can't buy. My niece is so creative. She is an amazing artist. She draws her ass off. She dabbles in animation. She's like 14. All I want to do is just pour into her the way that I was not poured into. And I asked my sister, like, are we breaking the generational curses? I think so, because my niece, when asked what she was thankful for, she was just like, I'm just really thankful to have a family that believes in me and, supports me in what I want to do. It just made me want to cry to hear, because I didn't have that. And we were doing right by the baby. So Auntie pulled up with art supplies and all the things. I want to see all your creations. I want to see what you have going on. It really just fills me up. But now that they're getting older, I'm like, let me take you into my world a little bit. Let me take you out to museums. Let me take you to creative experiences. Let's go to Comic-Con. Let's do fun stuff together. Yeah, and that's still a space of creative energy and heart-centered creativity, which feels different. That will add to my creative pool. And I feel like that one day was exactly what I needed. I spent the night, spent the day. But the last thing is combating my living situation. And I wasn't sure that I wanted to talk about this. I don't know, I might edit this out. When you live with people who don't have these same values and preferences as you can meet some rebuttal with your goals. For me, I need cleanliness in my space to get into my creative zone, just to be sane. I get overwhelmed if there's a lot of clutter around me. So I spent a lot of the week as combating other people's mess. The energy with the person that I live with towards the top of the week was just not good. Like, I was just dealing with the weight of the world, of like friction at home, like being uncomfortable at home. And when you're uncomfortable in the place that you live, it fucks with your safety and security. And dare I say, like, you can't be in survival in a place of creation at the same time. Like, yes and no, but like, I'm tired of creating, I'm not gonna say trauma art, but I'm tired of having to transmute negative energy and turn it into something grand and great. It's the most gruesome form of alchemy. Like, it's exhausting, and I just wonder what it would look like to create from a happy space. And I wonder if the living environment has something to do with why I'm not in my creative bag as much. Because if I'm in safety and survival, then that means that I am not in a creative space. So in safety and survival, I'm going to focus on that financial literacy. I'm going to focus on bottom line things, It's just so much to fucking juggle in life. Anyway, so the top of the week was weird, but towards the end of the week, things got much lighter. The energy was just better in here. And then going to see my family, I feel better. Things seem better, but I'm going to remain vigilant, diligent. Also dealing with a black mold issue in the house and a property management company that is ass. So going through escrow and the court and all of that to get this remedied, hopefully moving in the next month. It's a fucking lot. It's a lot. And then right now, I am without a working laptop, which is affecting all the things. My manager and co-creator allowed me to borrow her son's gaming desktop so that I can get some editing out the way and, handle some business. So I had that for like a month and had to return that a few days ago. So that happened within my week. So anything that I'm doing on the internet is either from my phone or an iPad or from a very small and older MacBook Air that won't allow me to do any editing. However, I have Final Draft up there so I can write. In my mind, I'm like, all right, maybe this isn't your editing season. The people around you have the tools. Both of my Chris's have computers that can handle everything that I'm trying to create. But if I want to write, if I want to focus on developing something new for myself, I think that sometimes having limited creative resources makes you more creative. So before I rush and jump and dump a couple $1,000s in a new computer, I'm trying to sit in this space a little bit, dig deeper into the artist way, and just remove the distractions. Like even the TikTok ban is a scroll time is my time again. I don't want external things to have that kind of control over me. So maintaining my boundaries is super fucking key. The energy that I give myself shouldn't be affected by outside sources. Like nothing should be able to permeate the love and integrity and commitment to my own self, right? Like external sources shouldn't matter. However, like a plant, external circumstances are everything to your existence. What makes us different from a plant? The same plants that are offering us oxygen in exchange for our CO2. Literally, if we put them in an environment devoid of the resources and nutrients that they need, they will either die, wilt, or their growth will be stunted. How can we act like environment doesn't matter? So you can change the environment. You can change the environment. I could take the plants and move them to a whole different location. Or I can change the variables in the environment by changing out the soil, maybe the kind of water, the nutrients, the fertilizer, maybe adding some perlite or some charcoal and things that will supplement or aerate the soil so they can breathe more. We really are not so different. And I'm going to forever, ever preach that, which leads me to another creative idea I've been sleeping on. But nature is a gigantic part to who I am, and I cannot wait to share the creations that come from that space. So just in recap, this week I spent my energy on financial literacy education, the artist way process, filmmaking, family, home life. Yeah, I'm gonna just let that be my week 2 video. This went way longer than I needed it to. That's what I have for now. I'll see y'all next week.